G'day everyone, and welcome to my next episode of my Let's Play of Need for Speed The Run. Now we've actually gone through the boring stuff, and we're actually getting into new things right now, where it gets a little bit interesting. And if you are a Gran Turismo fan, you'll notice that there is a bit of terrain here that would be a little bit familiar, but we'll see. And I'll point it out next time, or when it pops up at least. But right now, we are driving through the mountains. Or only the start, I should say. Because really, I really need to change this car. This car is a little bit underwhelming. Easy to drive and everything, but in this game, I should say in this game rather than in real life, as it's not a true representation of this car in real life, this car is a little bit underwhelming in terms of power. But we needed to get something like that. I want a Lotus at least. Oh my god, I want a Lotus so badly. And that WRX needs to lose its ass hump because those things are particularly ugly. Not the biggest fan of the new WRXs right now, but I am a big fan of these old Golf GTIs, or Polo. I think they're pretty much Golfs. I can't tell from here. But yeah, look at the landscape, it's beautiful. But I can't look at the landscape because I'm racing. Going around 220 kilometers per hour. Sorry, I changed the tacho there. Oh my god, MX-5, that's my car. Sorry, seem to be gushing a lot during the early starts of this video, I should say. As well as we passed the Audi Quattro turbos, which by the way are pretty much the original WRXs if you know your WRC history. And we have another ugly Rex right there. But yeah, we can see that now there's a bit of winds and dips and troughs in the road, that thing's a little bit, well, harder. And I'm actually using the throttle a lot better, because obviously you're going to be spinning out all the time if you don't take things properly. It's not to say that we're not at least playing Forza or a GT where I wouldn't be driving like this, but we're having a little bit of fun, aren't we? There's nothing wrong with a bit of smoke here and there, don't you think? But again, when it comes to racing styles in this game, you can always take the out and in technique in regards to cornering, as in when you just before you reach the apex, you go further out of the road. Go wider, then once you actually approach the corner right there, you go inwards. So that way you would have the maximum exit speed, I should say. Very short race right there, don't you think? And of course, the last car that we had to pass was a beautiful, beautiful Lotus Exige. I should actually mention that I am an absolute fan of Lotuses. That probably means I'll have to drive one later, which I will, and I'll explain a little bit more on why I love Lotuses. But let me tell you that Lotuses, even if they were owned by Malaysians and literally are just a few blokes here and there with not much money making supercars, they have probably the best engineers in regards to making cars. Not the greatest, but one of the better. They've had their, let's just say they had their finger in every single pot in regards to making the coolest cars, or the best cars. Little did you know that Lotuses were actually involved in the conception of the McLaren F1. And also they helped on the new McLaren FMP, whatever, number thing. As well as, they were actually the ones who helped make the trans-axle in the new Nissan GTR, which again is very, very revered. And don't be an idiot like me and take the corners too fast, because that's what happens. But enough about Lotuses and me gushing over them. Let's see how this car handles, and it handles poorly. Am I blaming the car? Yes. Whose fault is it really? Mine. But yes, we gotta really change this car. You gotta worry about the traffic as well. The roads are a lot thinner now compared to the start of the game, so we're actually having a bit of a challenge right now. The thing you gotta worry about is just pretty much the going downwards, I should say. balls, and a perfect explanation of what happens when you get wrecked, I should say. You have limited checkpoints, or you have limited restarts. So that means you can't always just keep on restarting and getting everything perfectly. You could say that it's a bit of a life system, say in old video games like, I don't know, throwing it out there, Super Mario Brothers, where you have to be mindful of how many times you'll fail. It's not like another game where you just use checkpoints all the time and it'll just restart you and there is absolutely no consequence for you crashing at all, besides obviously losing some time. Obviously you can't just crash and restart the whole level, but this way it balances things out. Whilst we go off-road right here. God damn, these graphics are pretty awesome, eh? Again, it's one of those catch-up races where you're not even driving on the road anymore. Now's the time that we need a good old American pickup truck right about now. Unfortunately, there are no Ford F-250s in this game, which is a bit of a bummer. But, oh well, what can you do? And look, my car is perfectly clean and uncrashed, obviously because this is a video game. And again, I should explain the award system a little bit better. Obviously, the better you drive, the more experience you get, and the more experience you get, the more you unlock cars and other benefits, such as extra NOS or more abilities here and there, such as driving on the side of the road, or for us Aussies, the right side of the road, in actually getting more nitrous oxide. And here we go, El Capitan. Doesn't that sound familiar? As if I've played that in Gran Turismo before. Not that it's the exact same track, but it's the exact same environment. And we gotta gain more positions. Joy. And my car awfully sounds very sick, don't you think? It's because of the new NOS system that the car sort of, or the game sort of, put in there, forced me or two. I don't think that this car is supposed to have that much. Whilst we pass all these American cars, ooh, and we have a pit stop. Let's go into our local Shell dealership now, because that's what I do in real life. So we get to, this is how we get to change our cars. Obviously, I'm not going to pick all the special cars because that's just cheating. So no Beamers, no R8s, no Dodges. I wish I could use a Ford GT. No LF. Oh, MX-5. Not that model and not that color. But yeah, we need to go for something a little bit easier because, yeah, I don't want it to be too easy. But I'm actually thinking of picking something that is in our tier. And there's our Scirocco, which obviously they didn't sell in Australia for a bit. And I'm very, very upset about it. It cost about 80 grand in Australia, man. You Americans are lucky. But I'm actually going to pick a Porsche, but which one? Ah, here we go. The good old 911 993. What color? Silver. I was thinking of yellow because, you know, it could be the yellow bird. But I'm actually going to pick white. If I had the Golf colors, that would be awesome. But we are picking this car. And the reason why I'm picking this car is just to let my Porsche enthusiasm get out a little bit. I love this car. It's one of the best Porsches ever made. And I'm not the one who's just saying that. It is the most sought out Porsche model in the world still. If you look at, say, the local dealership, if you can, or car sales, whatever it might be, this car is going for as much as a new Porsche. It's just that, I wouldn't say rare. Ooh, crash that Porsche, crash that Supra. And I can't believe I just restarted without using a reset. Oh, that's what happens when I try and crash out a Supra off the side of the road. I don't think that Supra really deserves to actually agree to what a Supra is. If I find a Lancer, I will crash that. But as I was saying, as we pass this beautiful Oh my god, my driving is horrible. Oh my god, get it together. Man, they use this car for the Targa Rally in Tasmania. And it's usually the one who dominates. So you can tell it's not the car, it's just me. But anyhow, as I was saying before, yeah, this is the most sought out and beloved Porsche. Being for its looks, it looks more so than our 997s today. And, well, you can see it by its looks as well. It's the, even though you might not actually notice the evolution of Porsche looks anyhow, but this is probably the one that jumped up the quickest, or was the biggest change from the prior models. And the next one, the 996, wasn't as good. So they changed everything back to the way it looks, as well as the transmission, the way everything is, for the 997, and that's what we have today. But yeah, if you look on the local dealerships or whatever, check the prices. Especially for 993 turbos. Going for ridiculous amounts here. Oh, here in Australia. Knowing you Americans, you guys get it for so much cheaper. We have to fork out good old, maybe average 130 grand for this car. That's a very strange car. I wonder what car that is. And I gave it a bit of an intro. Am I foreshadowing something? Maybe. But it's like there's a concept car that shouldn't exist yet. And we're racing it. And it's obviously kicking our asses right now. But just let me get used to this Porsche, shall we? It's a little bit harder to drive than that Datsun. Hi Datsun. And that was bullshit. Come on. The other cars hit it first. But at least we caught up with this Aston Martin concept car. The 177, or the 177, whilst we drive under this beautiful waterfall. And we passed by Hachiroku, or A86, and had to check if it had a black bonnet, because obviously now that particular cartoon came out, or Toyota Sprinters, if you want to call it True Sprinters, have black bonnets. Or maybe they're just selling more black paint. Or people have a lot of mismatched bonnets nowadays, and you can't find them a black bonnet. And that's not to say carbon fiber, because I highly doubt that most of the time it's carbon fiber. Anyway, I'm just deviating from the point. But we shall race, and we are beating every single car except for the Aston Martin. Awfully fast. Come on, come on. Didn't get to take this shortcut. Why didn't I? Actually, I couldn't see. But if you actually take a shortcut as well, not only is it shorter, or in some cases it's shorter, but he actually... that's what happens when you're trying to talk while playing. As I was saying... now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, that's right, in regards to taking shortcuts, it actually makes you refill your nitrous oxide a lot more. So it's probably better to go for it. Not that it matters anyhow, because driving on the wrong side of the road also fills it up, as well as drafting your opponents. Which was very, very lucky. I had to concentrate there a little bit because I just made it. That was a very, very, very close race right there. We're a little bit too close for comfort. Feeling the adrenaline, feeling it good. Especially the fact that I got this beautiful GT2. I love this car so much. Actually, there's going to be a few cars that I absolutely do love. But it's pretty obvious when he pops out. But that's not to say I really hate any cars in this game anyway. Again, I made the point before that this game respects its cars. And there's a lot of historics and stuff I would love to go on about, but obviously we will not have enough time. And look at this guy. What a cunt. Come on. That is just And who would crash a concept car like that? And here we are at it. Probably my most favorite race of this game. Actually, I wouldn't say the most favorite, but memorable. Because this awfully looks familiar. If only I had that Toyota Sprinter, it would absolutely match this track right here. If anyone's familiar with the Initial D series, this is a lot like Irohazaka. Just nothing but bends, bends, and more bends. And even better, look at the cars they make us actually verse. We have an RX-7 there, oh, yellow one, very strange. Sounds awfully familiar to another yellow car, I know. But in terms of beating this as well, beating this race, yeah, you gotta make sure that you throttling and braking properly. If you actually notice my brakes, I'm always triggering it off. I'm trying not to actually lock my brakes up. Which is strange, you can actually lock up your brakes pretty easily in this game. But yes, this is the car, and I fucked up that corner. This is the car that should be absolutely suited for this sort of race. This is where the king lives. Unless it's a GDR. Or this and a GDR and then probably an Evo, but I don't want to mention those cars because I do not like them. MX-5! Crashed her. Because, you know, most more than likely there's going to be a girl driving the MX-5, so we also have to be very nice to any MX-5 drivers out there. Or we call them, yeah, MX-5s. Out there you might call it the Unos Roadsters, or the Miatas. But we still have plenty to go in this race. Not a very hard race, by the way, because you sort of favors those who take things slow, unlike me who take things wide. This is why you need to worry about the actual map, because you really need to know what's coming up. The game is running too fast for you to be able to anticipate things. I usually always change the camera angle to the front view, but because the game is so hilly, it becomes useless because you can't see what's coming up ahead. And I can't see what that car is. What is it? What is it? What is it? Hurry up and slow down. Oh, it's a Lancer. What do you know? Oh, well, I'm happy I crashed that. Evo Lancers. I'm going to say right now that I'm probably not going to drive one through this gameplay. This playthrough, I should say. So I'm just going to let it out right now. Not the biggest fan of them. They're extremely popular, so it's not like it matters anyway, but in a nutshell, to me, they're just a rip-off. A try-hard Porsche or try-hard Audi Quattro. The only reason why I wanted to be in the rally is because of that car. But there we are at it. That's another stage complete. And we are a little bit closer to Las Vegas. I wonder what's gonna happen. Lucky enough, no cops, no nothing. It's just pure sailing on from here whilst we beat these Touge rice drivers. We shall see what's coming up next. Till then, I think that might be the end of the video. Catch you next time where we will be seeing new fun things. See ya.